Hello, 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 everybody. This is Angel Rebo, and this is Expansion Network, accelerating the consciousness of humanity every single day. And every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US, we have the Ask Julius Show. And this is an extremely special occasion because it's show number 100, which means 100. And obviously, we are with the incredible Kasey Speer here. Kasey, what an incredible time to be together. 100 episodes, no matter what. We have showed up to be here for our audience. Hi, Kasey. How are you? Great to see you.
I am so good. It is so great to see you, Angel, and it is so great to be here with everybody. Yeah, 100, right? It's kind of funny. We hear these numbers. We watch other shows and they'll say it's the whatever episode and da 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 da. And when you're doing them, you just can't imagine, getting to that number when you're going to hit that number, right? And here we are, right? We're at this number. It's amazing. And of course, thanks to our audience and the enthusiasms of our viewership, here we are, right?
Exactly. Here we are, and we are starting on time. We wanted to actually thank you for the patience on the channeling Julius social media outlets because it took a while to actually post on those two channels, and we know that we did it a little bit late. So we appreciate you for still showing up today. And again, we thank you for being with us every single day. And obviously we have a ton of questions and we will start right away because we don't want to have anybody waiting. Okay, so let's start with a question offline. As you know, I'm gonna make myself small momentarily, just momentarily. And the question is from Elizabeth. And Elizabeth's question is, hi Julius, I went for a walk in the park and when I returned, all windows in my car were open, even the roof window. What could happen?
So it sounds, Master, that your vehicle was responding to a frequency adjustment, which caused your electronic glitches in your car, of course. And so what is also interesting is this. So the government controls your car just like they control everything else. That's why there are computers in the cars, as you probably know this. And part of the agenda of having computers in the car is for them to be able to shut your car down anytime they want to and control, obviously, all the listening devices and all the video cameras and all the monitoring systems that are on your car. And so while they're shooting and firing all the different frequencies and all the different testing apparatuses and things of that nature, guess what? Your car's a computer. So just like things glitch on the computer at home, it probably glitched. So that's more than likely what occurred is that your vehicle got caught in a test zone or a shift zone with the frequencies that are passing through that area. And it more than likely has responded to something like that.
Exactly. And let me add something here because the other day, there's this very famous, that has a huge audience, huge following. He used to be on mainstream media and he left mainstream media a few years ago. He has his own show on X, and the other day made a video actually showing his, like, I think it was like the 1960 kind of truck, and he was exactly saying his literal words were, and I'm so happy to have this truck with me, although it's very old. It's like it's almost like 60 years old or more than 60 years old, because whenever I am not obedient with the powers that be, I can still run my truck. So it's so funny that you mentioned that. Obviously, things are going and things are happening. We love technology, but at the same time, we are not enslaved to it. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. And let me take just a moment to say hello to everybody who is joining the show. Sylvia Glover is here. The Lynn is here. Greg Nyman is here. The Lynn, I think, posted some. I'm going to post everything that's happening so everybody knows and sees it. We have Adrienne here. We have Hilda B. I can see, yes, Adrienne. I can see my comments because I can see no one in the chat. Yeah, we are here. Don't worry. We are here. We not always have the bandwidth to respond on the chat, but we are here for you. We also have Ashley Bell Caswell saying, yay, 100 episodes. Congratulations. Exactly. 100. right here with you and for you. Because the Ask Julius show is exactly that. It's a show for you to allow you to ask all those questions that you never dare to ask to anyone else. But asking them here in the Ask Julius show, thanks to Kasey Speer channeling Julius, we have Julius and their group of entities responding to those questions, and we are very happy here that you came. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me go up and see the questions that we have live, because the questions live are actually a priority for us. The first question live from Daylene. The energy seems intense. Was there a big timeline shift in the recently?
Yeah, there is a lot of shifting going on, Master. That is a truth. That is a truth. We are witnessing and in some timelines participating in a lot of the conflict, a lot of the what do we want to call it, power struggles of the energies and the frequencies that are going on. We want our support really to everybody that these are things that have gone on all the time. Okay, all the time. When people have become more aware of them, they're shooting more and more intense frequencies from multiple applications on you now. So they've always been shifting timelines on you. They've always been programming you. They've been always shooting frequencies at you. They've always been manipulating the music. They've always been manipulating your spelling and your school systems. Everything is an indoctrination system to get you to be obedient towards them. So this has been going on for, what you would measure a huge amount of time. But what is happening now, Masters, in the last, let's just say 20 years, is the multiple applications simultaneously. So you used to be getting hit from, let's just say, a half a dozen different types of frequency applications at any given moment. Now there's dozens of applications hitting you. So this is coming from your light bulbs. This is coming from, everything in your housing, everything in your neighborhoods, everything, from all of your systems that you're watching. You're walking around with it on your phones. You're walking around with the programmable devices. So what does this do? This ramps up the energy. So when you say, it seems like the energy is intense, we'll say, well, yes, because it's coming at you from such a massive amount of directions, okay? Especially if you are in community, if you are in cities, if you are in counties, if you are in neighborhoods, okay? Rather than being on the outskirts, rather than being more in the countries and things like that. So you are being bombarded, Master, because of the amount of different vehicles for the bombardment to be hitting you. And it's been going on your whole life. But you are also becoming more sensitive. One of the things that all of these frequencies are doing is they are activating some of the empaths. They're starting to activate some of the empaths. And of course, as an empath, Master, you are highly sensitive to energies and frequencies.
Excellent. Thank you so much. As you see, there are so many comments today in the chat. We're going to do our best to be able to follow through with all of them. And the next question comes from Adrienne. Who or what is making the moon pink yesterday? Also, does moon rituals work?
Well, so moon rituals, Masters. So we're going to tell you, and this gets very, very complicated. So we can tell you yes and no on the rituals. You are source, Master. You are source. The moon does not govern you unless you believe it does. And then you will create a reality for which your truth shall become for you. That's the power of you being source. So if you believe that rituals work, then they do. If you don't, then they don't, because you're the one governing your reality. It does not mean that you will override and govern somebody else's reality. So if somebody standing next to you believes in the rituals, then they will create or manifest the results demonstrative of their truth. And you may say, no, that doesn't work for me. And you will manifest the reality that will support your truth. Thus, conflict occurs, but you are source. That's how that works. That's how that works. So whenever anybody asks us about rituals or practices or mantras or mudras or disciplines or not disciplines, or we'll always say, masters, as long as it holds a truth for you, it shall demonstrate that position. When you expand your truth and you let something that may have been controlling you or limiting you go, it no longer will. This is all the supportive aspects of the fact that you are source energy, We will say, as far as the lens, your optical lens and the colorations that you see, it's definitely a reflection of what's in your atmosphere as far as shifting the colorations of the lens for the hologram.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And the next question comes from Tommy. How does one overcome mental illness if it is in the DNA and hereditary?
With great discipline, master, and great practice and great intention. That is a truth. That is a truth. So to be clear, everybody's DNA is the same. Basically, we're telling you that. You have all DNA. All humanoids have the DNA of every other sentient being that is out there. So everybody has it. Okay. So let's try not to use that as an excuse, and let's try not to use that as some kind of a trophy either. Okay. When you are on a conscious journey, master, you are on a disciplined journey of your thoughts and your emotions and choosing them. We would say that everybody has mental illness. They have distraction and they have been programmed. So they have mental illness. And what they also have is an extreme lack of discipline, Okay. Though we are not saying that mental illness is not a truth, it is very much a truth. But masters, medication can only modify or possibly keep somebody safe, hopefully from harming themselves or another, but it doesn't fix the issue. Only you can. So mental illness is a decision for detoxification, health and wellness, de-stressing practices, and extreme disciplines for thoughts and emotions, masters. And that's what we would tell you that everybody is trying to do. We could tell you that everybody is mentally ill, and we could tell you that everybody is source. So it just depends on your position of consciousness, okay? The problem with mental illness, masters, or a good portion of mental illness like narcissism, is they are in cognitive dissonance over their situation. So they don't think there's anything wrong with themselves, so they won't move to change something. If you believe that you are mentally ill, which we actually don't believe that you are, master, we think you are wonderful, we think you are empathic, and we think you are highly sensitive and highly aware. So then you will work on your disciplines of thoughts and emotions. But that's how you can resolve it. But the problem is, with mental illness, you may not have the ability to be aware of your state of being.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question from Hilda B. In regards of the talents and capabilities of perceived others, what are the signs that we have crossed the line from appreciation and potential source of inspiration to worshiping?
When you see somebody outside of yourself as better than you, more worthy than you, or having power beyond you, okay? And that is just not a truth. So you can easily slide into worship, and certainly it is also about sacrificing yourself. So worship usually requires you or asks you to sacrifice things for that being or that person. And if you find yourself sacrificing aspects of yourself for another to please another, you are worshiping them.
All right, thank you so much. Next question from Ashley Bell Caswell. Are some famous actors and politicians actually reptilian shapeshifters? Will they be exposed?
They are shaped. Most of them are reptilian shapeshifters, masters, and they are being exposed. So we don't know how much more you want of exposure, but they are being exposed. That's how you know how to even ask this question, is it is being exposed and you have received that information. So it is being exposed, and yes, they are reptilian shapeshifters. But see, the draconian reptilians masters aren't very clever. They really aren't. They aren't very smart. They're extremely manipulative, but they aren't very smart. So they slip up quite a lot.
All right, fair enough. Thank you so much. Next question from Love Light. Lauren, nice to have you again. I believe you once said you get to a high level of consciousness or the void is where new thought is created. But if thought is created in a high level of consciousness, why are there low vibe?
Your question isn't making any sense. Thoughts are created out of the launching of all thought, and they will demonstrate themselves in every frequency variation so that a thought is infinite. So it is infinite. So a thought will demonstrate itself through an infinite variation of frequencies, masters, so that it will never end and it will continue to expand itself. The way you are stating your question, it implies that something's bad about being low frequency, but it's not. It's like you're asking us, why does it have a frequency variation? So that you have a variation, master, and that is the truth.
All right, thank you so much. And the next question comes from Sylvia Glover. 3 weeks ago, while sleeping, I stepped into a timeline where I observed some beings. And when they noticed me awake in that timeline, I was zapped with a device, saw some red light, and woke. Can you please help me understand this experience? Where was I, and why was I put to sleep in that timeline while waking up in this one? Thank you very much.
So, Master, you described it beautifully. Actually, you described it beautifully. You were in another timeline, and you stepped into an experience that you were having in that timeline. That's what you were doing. So, in that timeline, your memory was being wiped by another being, and then you shifted back into this timeline and woke yourself up. So, you're just timeline jumping. That's what you are doing.
All right, thank you so much. And now the next question is, 1 second. All right, it's Deb H. Injured my right hip a few years ago. What can I do to heal it naturally? Hope to avoid doctors, auto surgery, pain while walking, and limited flexibility on the right. Much love.
So, Master, you need a lot of emotional work. You have extreme trauma that you're carrying in your right hip from a masculine figure in your life. We don't believe that this is the platform publicly to tell everybody what your trauma is. You know what your trauma is, and you need to heal that first, and then your body will follow in sequences to help repair the damage. But your hips are always carrying trauma, always. Always. Did we say that loud enough? Always, 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 always are carrying trauma. And so you need to eliminate that and face your trauma and deal with it and get it gone. And then you can be doing all kinds of healing practices to heal those areas and soft tissues. We recommend yin yoga for you.
All right. Thank you so much. We have an old question. I don't know if it's still the right question to ask, but I'm still going to do it. Julius, there will be elections in Canada soon. Will there be a change for the good of the people this time? Thank you.
There is a change. There's massive changes coming, Master. And whether you perceive it as good or bad is your perception. You're asking us to speak for a population of people as to whether their perception is going to be that it's good or bad. And we can't do that for you. You're also asking us to make a judgment call as to whether it's good or bad for you now, and we won't do that. So that's up to you, Master, to perceive whether it is good or bad. All we can tell you is, as always, changes are coming.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Next question from Swift Sage. Julius, I know there is only one of us here, but considering our fractal state, we see you as separate. You are in service to us, and we appreciate it so much. How can we be in service to you?
Oh, but you are, Master. For each thought and emotion that expands you further and further into the knowing that you are source expands us. So don't you see? Since we are all one, we are all the greatest gifts to each other. For every step towards expansion, love, empathy, and compassion deepens and stabilizes and strengthens that truism for every other fractalized version of us. You are the most amazing being, traversing along your journey of love and compassion for oneself. And Master, that will always take us deeper and further into our recognition of self as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And the next question, let me see. 1 second, please. Yeah, the next question is from Ruth. I have been living in same place close to 10 years and had an altercation with my landlord who lives there. He's slightly
Really?
Asperger's. We had an argument. And hello. Yeah, your image is now pixeled. 1 second. Hello, can you hear me well? I see you pixelated. Actually, I see your image frozen now. Hold on a second.
Sorry, you are cutting out really bad.
Hello. Yeah, same here. I don't know what's going on, but yes, she's telling me I'm cutting out, and we are seeing her pixelated. And 1 second. Let's see what we can do here. 1 second. 1 second. All right, so hopefully, yeah, try to limit the amount of graphics that are being exchanged with the platform. Hopefully you hear me better now.
Yes, great.
Okay.
Repeat that question again, please.
Let me, absolutely. Yeah, so the question is, it's from Ruth, and the question is, I have been living in the same place close to 10 years and had an altercation with my landlord who lives there. He's slightly Asperger's. We had an argument and he physically pushed me. Was nasty for a couple of days and has calmed down now. I obviously have to move. I used to own my own home, but not anymore. I'm not sure what to do. Don't really want to share it with anyone anymore, but financially may have to. I feel depressed at 63 years of age, and my life has come to this. Any suggestions would be helpful. Much love, Ruth.
If he physically touched you, Masters, that's a deal. That's something to deal with the authorities. That is the truth. That is the truth. Because we are going to tell you this right now. It's going to get worse. If you tolerate this, it will get worse. This is just one step. So you might as well start working on finding another place to live, because it's going to end up that way. And you can either deal with it by being forward facing on it, or you can sit around and wait until you get victimized so badly that you may end up not having a choice at some point. So this is your way out, Master. You have manifested this for some reason as well. Do not take the position of being totally victimized by somebody, even though we understand that it can feel that way initially, but there's something else going on with you that you are looking to move yourself out of this situation as well. Something. Okay. And that's fine. And it doesn't matter other than take your position of empowerment. Listen to us on this one. It will get worse. If you have been physically touched by this person, move into a position of power. That's what we recommend for you.
All right, thank you so much. And now another offline question from Jitka. Hi, Julius and Kasey. I didn't have a very happy childhood, yet I remember very little of it. I call it a black hole as a kind of protection, I guess. In order to heal it, I would like to remember. How can I do that? Sending you love and thank you.
Get
Chitka.
trauma coaching, Master. Get trauma coaching. That's what you need. Okay. Some type of person to help you work with trauma. Specifically, you have sexual trauma. That's the biggest thing that you have. Hope it's okay for us to say that on this platform. Since you posted the question, we're going to assume that you're going to allow us to give accurate answers for you. You have severe trauma from a female in your life, and it's sexual trauma. So sexual trauma causes the shutdown of memory and cognitive dissonance for children. And we suggest you get into some therapy or some coaching about it. And we aren't sure that you need to remember everything, but the trauma needs to be dealt with. So you have become traumatized, and issues have become traumatic for you. So they have become embedded in your energetic field, and you will not grow your consciousness until you deal with it. So deal with it, Master. Learn to love yourself. And as you love and will not judge, the memories will come back so that they don't re-traumatize you. So remember that you have blocked memories to keep yourself from being reactivated in the trauma. Does not give you the excuse to not deal with it. You are standing still until you deal with it. And we love you, Master. You are an amazing being. Step into your power and all is well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The next question is also an offline question from Victoria. Was Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon Church, a Freemason and part of the Cabal?
Yes, of course. The whole Mormon religion is cabal, and it's all about Freemasonry. Absolutely, 100%. Joseph Smith, as you know, was a charlatan. So was his family. The whole thing is made up, and it's all about programming and manipulation, Master. It's all about trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking, and devil worshiping. What was the rest of the question, or did we answer that question?
I believe you did, but let me just read it until the end. What is the truth about the Book of Mormon and its origin and content?
There it is. It's satanic. Okay.
All right. And the last part of the question is, who is Angel Moroni? I don't know. Angel Moroni.
So Moroni is just a fictitious character. Okay. So the whole thing is basically made up. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the LDS religion, supposedly Joseph Smith spoke to an angel Moroni, gave him a bunch of tablets. They hid the tablets. Can't find the tablets. Can't say what they said. Blah, 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 blah. It's just a fictitious, charlatanized programmed system, just like all the religions. Sorry, but that's the truth. We don't care whether that irritates you or not. That is the truth. You may go ahead and follow anything that you choose, but that is the truth. So it's highly programmable. Everything is about human trafficking and child trafficking. And then, of course, when Brigham Young had Joseph Smith killed, he took over and did the same thing. So it's all a big mumbo jumbo power game.
All right. Thank you so much. And we are about to cross the equator of show number 100. And every single show we have a special. And as you probably remember, we started to announce last week, we had this incredible workshop, which is called, and let me share the screen if I may, 1 second. And here it is, the beautiful visual that always our production team has for all of us, right? So if you go to the top right corner of the screen, you will see there is a QR code. If you take your camera of your cell phone, and you point it at that QR code, it's going to take you to this page, the Channeling Julius web page, in which this week we are promoting the Traversing the Matrix and the Void. Okay, and this is exactly what we are promoting. And I'm going to read. This is a 3-part live online workshop on April 15th, 16th, and 18th at 5 p.m. Pacific Time US, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's conducted through the Zoom platform. The first 2 modules are teachings by Julius, and the third one is questions and answers, where participants can send their own questions on the topic for Julius to answer. Remember, traversing the matrix and the void. Let me ask you something, Kasey. Why traversing the matrix and the void is so relevant with everything that we are living today?
It has to do with all of the programming that we've had, Angel. It really does. And we know that this is a very controversial subject. because some people want to know about it and some people don't want to have anything to do with even the concept or the thought of it. And it affects your reality and your world. It does. And if you believe that that is true, and if you feel that you have the effects of it, of that control and that manipulation, then this information will be very useful for you on how to get yourself energetically away from some of that manipulation and some of that projection and programming that is going on. But more than that, all of the teachings of Julius bring you to understand yourself as empowered source energy, and how you refocusing back to a state of full empowerment can truly help reposition you away from this fallacy, away from this holographic projection that has become so suggested to you. So it's also that. So everything has to do with coming back when Joyce is talking about a subject matter to you being empowered, you being the facilitator in your world. And so because this has been such a dominant aspect for humanity, and most people are wanting to get away from the victimization of that position of their lives and what's going on around them, this is very, very relevant to you gaining your center and you becoming the empowered light in your world and your reality.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And again, if you have questions, as you are seeing at the bottom of the screen, send an email to support@channelingjulius.com. Support, SUPPORT, @channelingjulius.com. I'm going to leave the email address at the bottom so you can send emails and you can make you can become aware of everything you need to know about traversing the matrix and the void. Traversing the Matrix and the Void, and we are on show number 100 of the Ask Julius show. That show in which Kasey Speer channels Julius and the group of entities, and you guys, all our wonderful and beautiful audience, asks those questions that they never dared to ask before. We have some duplicates, but actually I have to say the level of complexity and consciousness keeps on increasing. And all those questions keep on becoming more and more and more and more interesting every single day. Let's continue with those questions with all of your permission. And it's the second question from Adrienne. I am from New York City and the helicopter crash looked scripted or shot down. There was a helicopter with the executive, the CEO of one of the divisions of a large German manufacturing complex. And actually, unfortunately, apparently, himself and his entire family deceased in that, passed in that accident with a helicopter. Your thoughts, please. Very sad situation.
Is it? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, Master. As you said, just about everything is scripted now. Just about everything is scripted now. All is well.
All right. Thank you so much. Next question from Tommy. Is everyone in a conscious journey, whether they are aware of it or not?
Yes, of course. Isn't that great news, Master? Isn't that great news? Here's the challenge or the opportunity, depending on how you choose to perceive it. When you are not aware of it, you are not likely to progress very quickly or very efficiently, just like anything else in your life, Master. And when in that case, there is a byproduct of you not being aware of yourself as source and not being intentional on your journey. And it usually is a result of a lot of pain and suffering in your life, a lot of sadness, a lot of depression, a lot of hatred, a lot of anger, violence, fear. It's a low frequency thing. When you are not aware of what you are intending to do and being fully empowered, you are in a low frequency state, Master. Does not mean you won't eventually come out and become intentional on what you are doing. But when you become intentional and you become aware, then you have the opportunity to raise your frequency and wonderful things can occur for you. So that is all really great news. What we're leading back to in answering and supporting the answer to our question, Master, is yes. Every soul is on a conscious journey to know themselves as source through every experience that they are conjuring. So, yes, you can't miss it. You can't miss your journey. It's just a question of when you want to decide to take the reins and move through it with intention and make the magnificent occur for you per your choosing, rather than waiting around for it to occur bipartically for yourself. But yes, Master, the good news is every soul is on a journey to know themselves as source, or remember themselves as source, Master, through every thought and every emotion.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. We have our friend Kasey Savage here in the house. We can feel it. Thank you for being here yet again. Let's continue with the questions. This one comes from Elizabeth Wald. Hi, Julius. Why Jews have so much support / the most from any other nations / from the USA government?
Well, in the past, it is because they pretty much govern a lot of things. So, Master, your statement is extremely broad, because anybody who understands quote unquote Jews would say that's a huge variation. That's a huge variation. There is the Jewish religion, there is the Jewish nationality. Okay. There are different forms of the religion, and there's different depths in the belief system and the genetic codes of the nationalities as well. Okay. So the Zionist Jews are a big lead in the cabal and the elites. And so therefore they would receive, they're very much involved in the funding exchange and money laundering that's going on in the world, basically for their satanic stuff and their human trafficking and their drug cartelling and their weaponizing cartelling and things of that nature. Okay. So that can be definitely a truth, but please don't throw everybody under the bus that says that they're Jewish or a Jew in some way. Okay, whether it's through, again, their genetics through heritage or lineage, or whether it's a religious choice. But the Zionist Jews are backing up, and a huge part of the elite. And the Zionist Jews have a large influence or agreement with the draconian reptilians, and a lot of them has surrendered themselves to that nation.
All right. Thank you so much. Next question from Turk Thornton. Julius, I believe that social media does damage to the brain if on there too long. I think it was made for major distraction and dissociation with reality. What was the reason behind its creation?
Mind control and manipulation. That's what it's for. That's 100% what it's for. And you know that it is, because if you just try to detach yourself from it for about 72 hours, you may find yourself going crazy for it, like it's an addiction. The good news is this: it does have a wide spread or a wide berth over the reach, though it's very controlled, and you can definitively be on a blacklist or be shadow blocked on it, so that you don't have to be monetized, so you can be lied to as far as your viewership, so you don't have to be monetized. But it's all about manipulation, masters. That's exactly what it's all about. So addiction, manipulation, and brain control, mind control. That's what it's for. But you can use it. You can use anything, masters, for gain if you are mindful and aware and intentional with it. But yes, we do recommend that you minimize your time on it. Otherwise, you are literally going to find yourself dependent on it. And you'll know that you've spent too much time when you suddenly realize the time and it has slipped away like sand through your fingers, and it's time to get off. So just know that the frequency coming off of it is very low frequency. It is mind controlling. It is manipulating. Everything is leading everybody into a low frequency state. If you're using it to check up on a few things, just do that. If you're using it for business and for advertising, get on it, get off of it, and get on with your life and live, masters.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next question coming from Kasey Savage. The value of money is always depreciating, and we lose it if we don't invest or have it in a high yield savings account. Julius has stated that they don't recommend putting it in a bank or Bitcoin. What can Julius say about this so we don't allow our money to depreciate? Thank you all, sending so much love.
Master, your whole monetary system is false. Your whole monetary system is false. Currently, you're on a fiat system. You're in a fiat system. It's not real. It's not backed up by anything. So you're in a loss system right now. Loss system. Guaranteed loss system. You might as well go down and throw it away on the gambling machines. The good news is it's changing. So part of what is going on with all the tariffs and all of the shifting and the changing that this administration is bringing in, is they're bringing in gold-backed currencies. Other countries are also doing that. Let's rephrase that: commodity-backed, because some of it is minerals, some of it's gold, some of it's silver. There's different types of commodities. So once the monies go back to commodity-based, then you will have value on your dollars again, Master. And then whatever you choose to invest in will generally have the opportunity to turn some form of a profit for you. But the whole stock market is false. Your whole monetary system is false, except for the monies around the world that have something backing them up in value. So you're basically just trading nothing at this point. But having said that, because you all believe it has value, you'll do it with each other. But we're telling you, you won't gain really anything at this moment. That's what we see. That is what we witness. Okay, that's not our opinion. That is what we witness. Okay, so we are telling you that system is working its way into a change, and when it does, that will be a great time for you.
Excellent, thank you so much. And now a question from Cat55K. Dear Julius, what's your perspective on what punishment those that committed crimes against humanity should receive? Thank you.
We don't have an opinion on that, Master. Punishment doesn't really work. Accountability would be lovely. Accountability is different than punishment. That's what we would encourage everybody's system to shift over to.
All right, fair enough. And now we have another question, offline question from Gabriela. You've mentioned in the past Dolores Cannon. Can you tell me more about what you think about her teachings, please? I had someone else tell me about her not being a credible source. Thank you.
Master, we do not want to speak about other people that way. That is for you to decide for your own self. You get to choose that per your resonance. What we can tell you is she is not in a frequency level of a high level of consciousness, and that is a truth. That is not a judgment. That is a truth, and that's what we will say.
All right. Fair enough. Next question. As Nesara Jasara is happening, will this be this year, or will the RV exchange happen around the same time? I've been hearing during the RV exchange you will be able to request med-bed appointments. Is this the case? Thank you.
Master, we don't control that, so we can't answer that question for you. We are not controlling that.
All right. Fair enough.
What we can tell you is, there's many intentions on how that can roll itself out and how it's going to sequence itself. That's what we can tell you, okay? We can tell you that it has already started. That's what we can tell you for certain. It has started. That's good news. How quickly they're going to roll out all of the benefits is yet to be seen. Thus far, it's not moving as quickly as what we initially had conversation involved with, but it is happening. But ultimately, how it's going to reach all of the systems, we are not controlling that at this time.
All right, thank you so much. Next question from Chris Sell. Thank you for being with us, Chris Sell. Hi, Julius team. I'm healing from a locked hip, and now I have dropped a laptop on my toes, causing injury. Why are these injuries happening to my legs?
So more than likely, Master, This is happening on one side of your body. So the question is it happening on the right side of your body or is it happening on the left side of your body? That's masculine energy on your right side, feminine energy on your left side. So it has to do with your masculine and feminine energy, not facing or dealing with things that are lack of a support system and a stabilization system in your life. Anything from the hips below have to do with your stabilization or the foundational safety in your life, either with male energy or female energy.
All right, thank you so much. And now we have another offline question because we have so many of them. JC Daly, is borax safe to put in bath and is it safe to put a pinch in water?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's wonderful for detoxification, and it provides a mineral supplementation.
All right, fair enough. Another questions. Cherry Thornton. Julius, I've been working on not allowing others and their energy to have an effect on me, especially when I am vibrating high. What are some things we can do to put up energy blockers so that our energy isn't sacked from us?
So we're not going to say it's so much about blocking energy, Master, as you continuing to resonate your frequency high so they can't reach you. That's really how that works. So you can't block yourself. So you are all energy, Master. You are all energy. And you can't block yourself, but you can choose a frequency to calibrate yourself to so that your experience will stay consistent with that calibrated frequency, which would include the low frequencies being non-influential to you. Okay. So that's the way that we know it to be true. Whether you want to perceive it as a block or whether you want to perceive it as, a climb or whatever it is, it's still a consistency in your frequency. So what is happening is when low frequency comes in, you're surrendering your focus and you are allowing that frequency to become dominant for you. So you're out of focus. You're getting knocked off your center. So you get to practice staying centered amidst distraction, Master. That is the conscious journey. That means that you focus. And when you feel yourself slipping, your focus has slipped. That's the truth. So refocus yourself and keep yourself in a high calibrated state. You could walk through shite and come out shining like a penny when your frequency is raised high enough.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. The next question is an offline question from our friend Sonny Dean. We are a soul, no doubt about that. What does it mean when our loved ones cross over? How can I be with my father again here? Thank you.
So, Master, it's such an interesting term that we sometimes have used and people use calling it crossover. Crossover what? Okay. They're non-physical. So you're having a physical experience. They've gone non-physical from this timeline. Okay. But they are existing as you are in the multiple fractaled self in an infinite array. All you have to do, Master, is think of him and he is with you. That is the truth, because neither you nor him are singular and separate. You are actually just thinking of oneself in a version of yourself that is joyous and loving and respectful and honorable to you. So think of him, Master, think of him, and he will respond. It is a truth. Whether you want to accept this truth or not is up to you. But the more you do, the more your beautiful communication will come through. But what you have to remember, Master, is it may not come through voice. It may not come through audio. It may not come through dialogue. It could come through frequencies. It can come through what you might say coincidences. It could come through a song or a television program or somebody walking on the street that says something magical or referral to you as to a memory. So just remember that, Master. Just think and accept, and practice. And that is how it works.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's go to another offline question from Empress New Groove. I tend to hesitate on Psyche. How can I trust myself more?
Practice, Master, and the more you practice, the more you will be. Hold on. Windows update outside of the active hours. Okay. Sorry. They're asking how to trust their psyche. Is that correct?
Yes. How can I trust myself more?
Sorry. As you practice, Master, and you have support back, in other words, when you think of something and it shows up, or when you think you know something and then it proves itself, let that support you, Master. Let that support you. Stop discounting all of your validation. Stop discounting it. Instead, let that validation be accepted. Let that validation build upon itself. And move your altered ego out of the way and let your soul come forward and say, yes, 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 yes. But it is also a huge issue, Master, of self-love. If you are doubting your psyche, we can tell you aren't loving yourself. You aren't loving yourself. So deepen and be more efficient on your self-love practices, Masters. And then that way you will trust yourself. And that is the truth.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And this is going to be the last question of today's show. It's a question from Amy the Artist 1. There are many energy healers that call Mother Mary to assist in healings with them and the people they help. So who is helping them?
Themselves, Master. There's only one of us here. That is the ultimate truth. That is the ultimate truth. Okay? But most people just don't go that. So they're just they might as well say it's Dr. Seuss helping them. And if they believe it, then it is. Okay? So that name is not even real. None of your names are real. Okay? That is a character demonstration of a level of consciousness, just like we are, Master, just like we are. Okay. So the truth is, it's all you. It's all you, always and in all ways. That is the ultimate truth. But most people don't accept that truth. So they will work on a convincing of something else. But if they hold whatever they have convinced themselves to be true as their truth, it will demonstrate itself as their truth, because you are source and you will always support your truth back to yourself in the hologram. That's how it works. In other words, in a simplified version, Master, it's the power of suggestion. That's how it works. That's how powerful that is. We could easily say, Angel Rebo healed us. The power of Angel Rebo. We tapped into Angel Rebo after the show. He's magnificent. He's amazing, because he is, because he's source. And through knowing Angel and our collaboration with him, our arm was healed. Is that true? Yes, because he is source, we are source, and it is all the same energy. And others may say that's a bunch of hogwash. Angel Rebo didn't heal me, and we'll say that's because you didn't know he did. So, Master, it's all about what you know. What you know shall become for you. What we encourage you to do, though, is to know further beyond anything and beyond holding steadfast and still for any one singular truth in any form.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was show number 100. There's another question from Adrienne. We really made sure that we have it for next show. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up again. Thank you. 100 shows. That's almost like a couple of years. That's almost like 104 weeks. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kasey.
I'd like to say something really quickly, if I can, before we go. So I just had the opportunity to take a few days vacation for myself at a beach in Florida. And I had the opportunity, the blessed opportunity, to have family with me and some of my grandchildren with me, and my oldest grandson. Excuse me, my my youngest grandson, Wyatt, is with me a lot, and we get to spend a lot of time together. And we were walking on the beach, of course, because I run on the beach. I run every morning, and we get to walk on the beach very early in the morning. And as we're walking and collecting shells, this is what I want everybody to picture for themselves. So we're walking on the beach, and all of the shells, Angel, from those tiny, tiny little ones that just basically, end up being an aspect of the particum of the sand, to the really big, cool conch shells and the really cool things that you see, right? And Julius was talking to Wyatt, and Julius said to Wyatt, every single one of these shells had a living being in it at one time. It was a house for living creatures, every single one, not just the big ones. And the look on his face, right? And then Julius said, and all of that is you. All of it is you. And his response now is getting to the point where he's like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I get that. And I wanted to bring that up because the more we talk to our own selves that we're everything, and we can see it, and we see the amazement in the vastness and the mass of possibilities that we are. If children can get that so easy, right? Just bringing that in, and we just need to work that broad, infinite aspect for our own selves, right? Brings a big smile, brings a laughter, and we always have a good time. And I want everybody to do the same thing for yourselves. You are everything. Look at the infinite aspect of all that you are. It can be the simplest thing, literally right underneath your feet as you're doing your walk or your run in the mornings, right? So I wanted to send everybody so much love and so many blessings to find your way into knowing yourself as the infinite possibilities of it all as source.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing such a beautiful, instance in your life. Thank you so much. Definitely, we've spoken about kids in our show plenty of times. They definitely, still keep that magic intact. As much as we have done with our 100th show of the Ask Julius show. That show in which, you come here and you ask Julius, who is channeled by Kasey Speer, all those questions all those things that you are always wanted to know. And we have been holding a space for you, and we have this incredible workshop of 3 days happening. You see here the QR code. Take your cell phones, take your camera, point the camera at that QR code, because there's going to be this incredible 3-part workshop, April 15th, 16th, and 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Traversing the Matrix and the Void. The last session on April 18th is going to be the Q&A. Everything you wanted to know about Traversing the Matrix and the Void. And again, it's been our pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us. No matter what, you're always here. We carry you on our heart. Thank you so much. And we have here the comments from our beautiful audience. Thank you so much, Cat55K and Hilda B. Thank you so much for answering our questions. 100 shows. Love and light. And Ursula Baker saying, my son's name is Wyatt. Look at that. And then Stacy saying, congrats on the 100th show. Though we know we've been here together on live shows for years and years. Absolutely, we have indeed. And Adrienne, 100, woohoo, congratulations, and plenty of balloons and cakes and flowers and bees. We love bees as well. Stacy Savage, wow, what an awesome story, such a blessing. Absolutely. Kasey, thank you for sharing that beautiful story with your grandson to inspire us to know ourselves as all. And again, also, Jedi June, congratulations on 100 shows. And we have to go. We love you guys. See you next week on April 19th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The show number 101. of the Ask Julius Show with Kasey Speer, Julius and their group of entities, my humble self, Angel Rebo, with all those powers that so well Julius described today. Thank you so much. And obviously the rest of our production team always with us doing and playing their magic. See you soon, guys. We love you. Bye-bye.